Chipola River Sasquatch or Skunkape tracked in Florida. Charles writes RMSO. Here is a video I took earlier this year. 300 yards from tracks recorded recently along the Chipola River in the northwest panhandle of Florida.
And they keep on going in the water.
Charles continues. Here are some prints I photographed along the same river system around a mile from where I filmed the other footprints. RMSO responds. From the size of some of these tracks, they may be a fit for a Skunkape and her infant she was carrying that was captured on a trail cam in Florida. Interesting game camera footage has been circulating social media. From what I gather, one of the media sites it was shared with was Outcast Paranormal. This is what they said. My buddy that researches the Florida Skunkape was sent this from our neck of the woods. If it's fake, it's a good one. What do you think it is? I see a baby and its fingers on the mom's nose when I mess with the color filter. This is a game camera picture of a plot feed for a hunter. If you think it's a suit, please search the internet to find the suit and post results here in the comments. Personally, I agree. If someone wants to make a claim that it's a suit, then you need to provide a link to the exact suit. Zooming in, look at the size of the creature's ears and how the human-looking face is. Appears the baby has part of its hand and most of its fingers on what I believe is the mother's face. Doesn't look like a chimpanzee to me. However, I do wonder if it's some kind of an ape or monkey living in the wilds of Florida. Also, wonder if a Skunkape looks anything like this. Some people claim Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and Skunkapes are gorilla in shape with a face that looks like a human, and then others say that the creature has an ape-like face. I'm sure each individual has its own characteristics, and those characteristics differentiate in different areas of North America. For example, the Skunkape will look vastly different than a Bigfoot in Washington state, and the Magoyan monster will look drastically different than the Sasquatch in northern British Columbia. Interesting photo captured at a feeding plot. Perhaps the primate-looking creature and its baby were just passing through, or maybe they were there for an easy meal provided by the plot feeder. Keep on watching, we're gonna keep on squatching.
Bigfoot Evidence provided us with the original raw footage. It's just amazing footage. This is cropped so that we can zoom in on the creature and you guys can get a better look at it. At the very end of the video, I'll put the original footage up. I did the guy's backstory on a video and I just wasn't satisfied with it. I wanted to do a better job. I wanted to crop in closer with this amazing footage. I'll give you guys the backstory as you're watching this. We're gonna do this, some zoom stabilized. I got better photos of the creature or screenshots, and I also got really good ones of the face. There was only like a frame or two that it actually looks at the cameraman or the guy in the canoe before it heads off to deeper water, and it looks like it, to me, like it killed a snake or is in the process of killing a snake, perhaps caught its dinner before it heads off into the swamp. Just amazing footage. And if you guys didn't see the last video, or you did, I'm just going to give the backstory as if it's the first time you're seeing this. The guy writes Bigfoot Evidence from 2015. I was canoeing some of the swamps around Lettuce Lake Park and saw what I thought was a bear. I told the park ranger about it, and she said that bears don't generally get into the swamp, and that there were never many sightings in general. I showed her the video, and she said she didn't know what it was. I saw on Fox 13 a story about Bigfoot weeks ago. The mayor, Bob Buckhorn, made a statement about and thought this might be related in some way. I never put much faith in the Skunkape legends, but when I looked closer, I noticed that it had long swinging arms and moved through a very thick swamp with ease. Certainly can't explain it myself. I didn't ever get a close look, but I hope that this footage can be enlarged. You have my permission to use it and edit it however. May you shed some light on it. I can give you my phone number. The email file was too large, so I put it on a Google Drive folder. Matt. And I wasn't satisfied with how I enlarged it on the last video I did with this. I mean, Sean provided us with just the great footage. In my opinion, it's very clear footage, and so I enlarged it a little bit better, or a lot better than I did on the last one. So even though you guys saw that, I hope you guys watch this to the end. The screenshots that we did of this are just amazing, especially where it shows its face as it peeks at the cameraman and heads off into the swamp with its snake dinner. I believe that's probably a snake. Makes me wonder if it's a cottonmouth. Anyway, Matt writes a second email. If it's a person, they were either a moron or completely insane. They are walking, swimming, and diving in an area where there are hundreds of 12-foot gators, walker moccasins everywhere. I was there watching it for a while, seemed to notice me, and walked toward deeper water. It went underwater and vanished. I paddled up there, and it was nowhere to be seen.
St. Cloud Skunkape injures pit bull and leaves hiker frozen in fear. Jeremy writes RMSO, "Thank you for everything you do with the Bigfoot community. I have been a believer since I was young and saw something I couldn't really explain. In hindsight, I know what it was. So, I was in St. Cloud, Florida. Narcoossee Road area, late 80s. My aunt's large pit bull had come home injured, and we thought it was a panther or a bear. But this dog, it was no pushover. Couple of days later, I go out with my BB gun. I had never gone that far, and I reached a clearing. It was about 40 to 50 yards to the other tree line. Pretty much waist to chest high, light brown wispy grass between me and the other tree line. I stepped out of the tree line and saw a large black human figure, twice as tall as the grass, and I locked eyes with it and thought it was the Grim Reaper. Frozen in fear. About 10 seconds went by and it squatted down, still taller than the grass, but blended in well with the tree line just behind it. I still couldn't move. It then made a low, growly sound that I felt. It was loud, and it came from right there. I finally bolted into the tree line. I stopped about 10 feet and looked back, and it got up and took 2 or 3 steps and vanished. I tried to tell my aunt and my mom what I saw, and they said it was just a bear. But in hindsight, we were 40 miles away from any major city, and I really think I saw one. There was a large drainage canal, which is still there, that runs east to west. Back then, there was nothing until 1995, but I have never been that scared since. True story, respect." RMSO asks, "Twice as tall as the grass? How tall would that make this creature? You said it was black. Could you see the hair or fur or anything? When you locked eyes with it, can you describe the face and eyes, please?" Jeremy continues, "The grass on my body was chest high, and the way the shoulder and head was hard to see detail, but it was really wide. I thought it was like a cloak or something, but the eyes. I was staring where I thought they should be, and it turned its head slightly, and I saw them. They were about the size of tennis balls, so it seemed. Then it squatted, but it was at least 8 to 9 feet high, and frozen in fear, and then it let loose a growling noise. The head and shoulders was hairy, but kind of blended around the eyes and nose. The chin was almost shiny, without hair, some visible protruding cheekbones, and the tennis ball size eyes. It burned into my brain.